Probably should be doing an upload of some sort today. Doesn't help that I've been sick. What could I do? We talk about that. Could talk about that. Alright, let's just do that. G'day jabronis, my name is the Bird. You already know that shit though. I'ma scull this green tea real quick. Son of a horse. Okay. That wasn't fun, but hi. It's just been sitting there, I needed to drink it. I need to like kind of charge myself up a bit for this recording, because today, people, we are doing something that I've wanted to do for a little bit since it's kind of ended up now, which is a PMC Season 1 recap. As you guys should know if you watch my channel. If you don't, PMC is
currently the only league that I'm actually battling in, and so I kind of hold it in pretty high esteem when it comes to me doing analysis shit for it, because I also want to analyze myself, you know, my team building, all that good shit. Anyway, so today, basically what we're going to be doing is, as you'll see by this brilliant little layout that I've made for myself, I'm basically going to be recapping how the season went, how I feel each Pokemon performed, and what I could see myself doing next season, what the kind of game plan is looking like being, and kind of like talking about that. So it's basically just a season review of your Tampa Bay Frogadiers in the first season of the PMC. Okay, so first off, massive shout out to JSpecs and Tyler Fanbase for actually giving me the opportunity to compete in this league. I had just come fresh off of winning the Season 1 UBC Championship, so I was like really confident, really, you know, looking forward to going in. I had this new persona being the Verd. I was like hyped as shit for this crap. I spat a promo in my first round 1 match, but I didn't do any more after that, and I regret it. I really should have done more, but I didn't, and it was like really depressing. But definitely, regardless of that, let's focus on the initial draft that I went through. So my initial draft plan going into the entire thing, looking at the way that points were distributed, was the fact that I think Ferrothorn was tier 1 for some reason. I can't remember. They had, I think it was Starmie at tier 2 and Ferrothorn at tier 1 for some reason. I can't remember how they did it, but it was just weird. I don't know. JSpecs changed shit. But anyway, my main game plan to start with was I wanted to get Starmie, Ferrothorn, and Talonflame. Like, that core is pretty dope. I like it. I like it a lot. Unfortunately, that was shot down pretty early on. I was able to get my Starmie. Starmie was my first overall pick in the PMC draft, and I didn't even keep it for the whole season. Spoilers. It was just an amazing pick first overall. And after that, it was able to come back around to me, and by that time, my good friend now, Sharpino, of the Sydney Crocodiles, had taken Talonflame, so I was like, shit, okay. So I had a choice. Basically, I think I was 3rd cap off the rank, I think, at that point. And I had the choice of thinking, okay, so ahead of me were 2 people that could pick. I wasn't really sure what they were going to go for exactly. And so I was kind of tossing up between 2 things. Did I want Ferrothorn, or did I want Charizard X? Because that was the backup plan, was Charizard X with those guys is pretty sweet, right? Yeah. So I was tossing turns. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the risk of hoping it comes back around to me with that Zard and will be all good. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I went to go with Ferrothorn and Misty Drapions right after me, literally just before I wanted to pick Kieran Black. Oh, sorry, not Kieran Black. Literally before I wanted to pick Mega Charizard X, pick Mega Charizard X. Now, initially I was thinking, fine, I'll just use Mega Charizard Y. It might not be as tough to deal with in the format, but it's still pretty annoying to deal with. Then I thought, well, you know what? Nah. Let's go with something that hasn't been picked until the 3rd round for some reason. Let's go with Kieran Black. Brock Lesnar, my Kieran Black. So that was basically the main thing about my draft, is I had an initial plan of getting those 3. It didn't work out. I got Kieran Black instead. But Kieran Black is amazing. Like, it was phenomenal for me. It is such an annoying Pokemon to deal with. So hard to wall in this format, which is just phenomenal. I love it. So draft didn't go like fully to plan, but after that, we go into the first few matches. So if you guys don't remember, my full team that I had for the start
of the entire season was I had Mega Pinsir, Kieran Black, I had Starmie, Emboar, Heliolisk, Gramble, Weezing, Ferrothorn, Spiritomb, Tyrantrum, and Gligar. That was my team. Well, the first few weeks that I was doing this competition, so basically went in, first round was good against Sharpedo, 5-0 win, happy days. Then against Misty, I think it was another 5-0, no, was it 4-0? It was 4-0 because she has Scarf Staraptor. Wait, was that 5-0 too? Or was Sharp 4? No. Misty took out... Did Ferrothorn die? I don't think Ferrothorn died. I don't think it did. I think it picked up back-to-back 5-0 wins to start. So I was like, damn, Daniel. So then I went into round 3, and... unfortunately, I went up against Lucky Lad TV. Don't get me wrong, he's a nice guy. He's a bit cocky. Like, okay, I do cocky as, like, a funny thing. Like, when I'm the Verd, I'm pretending to, I'm trying to get heat. It's like a wrestling term where you're trying to get a reaction from the audience. So I'm not trying to be confident on purpose. I'm trying to be like a confident person, because that's what the character would do, because it's funny, okay? Him, on the other hand, he's a little bit too cocky in the sense that he thinks he's better than everybody else, literally, and that kind of rubs me the wrong way. And it was kind of like that, where he was talking about the fact that the roll on my Kieran Black's Ice Beam that allowed his Gorgeist to live on like 3 HP didn't matter, even though in that sequence it allowed his Gorgeist to not only burn my Kieran Black and weaken it, alongside with rocks, but also weaken my Gramble, which would have been able to take on his Kieran, which was Modest Choice Scarf. It was a bad turn of events. Basically what happened was my Kieran Black went for a Life Orb Ice Beam on a Gorgeist that was holding a Yachi Berry, and he ended up getting the roll in his favor. It was like, I think like a 60-40 roll, something like that, so I couldn't really control it, but it was just really shit that I had to lose my first match that way, and him kind of acting like, the roll wouldn't have mattered, when if you'd done the calcs and you knew how the battle could have turned out, it probably would have mattered. So it's like, that kind of irks me. Like, I'm more than happy to say to people like, yeah, if that didn't happen to me, I probably would have gone on to lose, which we'll get to soon. But when it's a situation where if that didn't happen, I'm not sure what the result would have been, like, I'm happy saying that, like saying like, this hacks happened, don't know if it would have changed the battle, but it was really unfortunate, I'm sorry. He didn't even apologize for the hacks. Like, I get that hacks happens and, we can't do anything about it, but I apologize for any hacks that I do to people after a battle. Like, if it's my really good friends, I'll say, ha, lol, because we do it to each other all the time on Battle Factory and shit, but when it's, like, in a competitive format, be nice about it, don't be a douche. Like, come on. Seriously, people. Anyway, so went on from there, we were 2-1, and we went up against Cloud Envy. Now, Cloud and I, we're really good mates now, and we had, like, a really good battle, and this one is what I'm talking about with Lucky. My Tyrantrum was in against his Swampert, and I ended up getting, it didn't really matter, it kind of mattered at the time, but also didn't really matter at the time. I ended up getting a min roll Outrage onto his Swampert. It was a bad choice at the time with Tyrantrum, because if I kept Tyrantrum around, it could have dealt with his Beedrill and dealt with his Swampert late game, but I made a bad play at that time to keep it in and ended up dying off to a Fortress, which was really, really shit. But at the time, the Swampert lived on like 2 HP after the Outrage, and it was another thing where if the Swampert had gone down, it would have just been the Beedrill, and I had Gramble still there, which could have come in, gone for the Intimidate on the Beedrill, allowing maybe my Heliolisk to live and then kill Beedrill, but it was like, after the battle, Lucky said, hey man, like, if that was a roll, I'm really sorry about the hacks. And I was like, that's cool, like, it's fine. If somebody comes up to me and apologizes about the hacks, that's so nice. Like, Lucky's just, Cloud's just a really good person, guys. He was a really good person about it. And it sucked that I lost 2 battles in a row to kind of hacks, but it was also like more just, I did make some bad decisions in both games, so I tried to clean myself up. And then possibly the haxiest battle of the PMC season came around when I was up against J-Specs, and this was so bad. I ended up getting rid of Starmie, like, literally after this battle happened. No, it was after the next battle, but... Up against J-Specs, my Starmie dodged a Stone Edge that would have killed it, and proceeded to, I believe, kill his... did it kill the Entei? No, something else killed the Entei. I was able to get it for free Scald. I ended up freezing and killing his Latios, and also killing off his Thundurus, and it was just really bad hacks that kind of changed the course of the battle, and I felt really bad about it afterwards, and I talked to him about it, and he said it was fine. It was just really frustrating I had to win a battle that way, but it got my mojo back, because once we won that game, we were 3-2, and we did not look back from there for the rest of the regular season. Up against Infrareddy, who was eventually taken over, I think, by somebody else, I think Kyle, at the time. We were able to beat him, I think, like, 4-0 or 3-0. Like, it was just awesome. Helios put in some work. Helios was great until I had to get rid of it. So, come week 7, I made some changes, ladies and gentlemen. So, his changes basically came around when I was having a chat with Osiel, or V, who is the coach of the Colorado Rapidash. He basically, well, I think it's Colorado Reggies now, but he was talking to me way earlier in the season saying, hey, I really want your Starmie, can I trade my Togekiss for it? And I was like, no, not really, I got a Gramble, so I didn't really want it. And then I thought about it later on, he was really keen to get a Spinner or a Defogger. And I was like looking at Starmie thinking, Starmie's been okay for me. Maybe I can try and work a deal though here with V. And so I said to him, hey man, would you be interested in trading your Mew for my Starmie? And he said yes, and I was like, oh, okay, I mean, if that's what you want to do. So because that happened though, it means that I was over my point quota, so I had to make up for it. So I made some chops and changes. So instead, I got rid of Mega Pinsir. It wasn't really doing anything for me. I found Mega Pinsir is a really good Mega to use, but it depends on the person. I feel that, in some formats it's really good, but it's just so hard to set that thing up sometimes, and it's very easy to counter in this format now. It depends on when you draft it. If you picked it like very, very last pick of the draft, I think then you'd have a better chance because people might not be able to prepare for it with their drafts and whatnot, but it's just, I didn't enjoy using it. I love Mega Pinsir as a Pokemon, but I just didn't enjoy using it in this format. Anyway, so then I got rid of that and I got Mega Pidgeot, which I didn't use a single time for the season. I don't even know why. I think it was because like in all my matchups, my opponents had very, very good electric type Pokemon, and also like things like Tyranitar and stuff, which just really deterred me from wanting to use Mega Pidgeot at the time. Not saying it was bad, it was just the best budget pick that I had to choose from there. In hindsight, I could have gone for Mega Blastoise, but I decided against that at the time. Then I was, like I said, I picked up Mew instead of Starmie, and then I did a couple more changes I was able to do. I used all of my free agent changes at this time as well. I dropped Gligar for Alomomola, which you will find out is one of the best decisions I made at the back end of this season. And I actually, which was a bit, it caused a bit of backlash, I decided to drop Helios for Jolteon. Now, people were questioning this decision at the time. The reason I did it, guys, was because I was picking up a normal type in Mega Pidgeot, which was fine, it was cool, I didn't really need it on Helios anymore. And the main reason was because Jolteon was a lot faster, and I was going to, my next match was against a guy, against Kingdra, who had a Tornado Therian. I wanted something to outspeed that wasn't Mega Pidgeot because it's speed ties, so Jolteon fit that bill pretty nicely. So that was the basic game plan there, and also just Jolteon was a lot faster, could hit just as hard, and I did miss the dual typing and like the moveset range on Helios, but Jolteon was still pretty good. So, that out of the way, basically from here, I had a pretty solid team. I was pretty happy with it. The team was pretty solid. I didn't really use Tyrantrum or Weezing that much. They were probably my two most underused Pokemon. Ferrothorn also didn't really see much action until the late end of the season. So, round 7, up against V, we slaughtered him 5-0. Alomomola got 2 kills, they were both amazing. He Mirror Coat killed a Thunderbolting Rotom Heat, ate up a Rotom Heat Thunderbolt, and then killed it with Mirror Coat, and then came back later on to Wake Up Slap kill the leading kill getter at that stage in Weavile. It was sick, it was awesome, and at that stage we had picked up a 5-2 record. So we were looking really good, and it came to round 8, and we had our rematch with Sharpedo. And this was a really important match, guys, because at this time, every one of us, I think, was at 5-2. And so, it was really important to see who was going to, falter at this time. Actually, no, was Lucky at 5-2? That's a good question. Was Lucky at 5-2? I know Lucky lost to, he lost to somebody. I can't remember who. I can't remember if he lost again before he played me again. I can't remember that one. No, I don't think he did. I think it came down to me beating him. But basically, at this point, I wanted Sharp to beat Lucky, because Lucky was, I think, 6-1, and we were both 5-2. But at this point, I realized, I said to Sharp, like, I really respect you, man, we're good mates, but I'm gonna have to beat you here. And I went on to win, like, I think it was 2-0 or 3-0. It was really close, though, because if he had a sub-special attacking Virizion, I was screwed. But fortunately, it was a physical attacking one, so my Gramble came through for me in that battle. It was sweet. His Cryogonal put in the work, though. You need to go watch that battle. It was one of the better battles I had But yeah, so we got through that battle, and that meant that we went to 6-2, and Lucky, I think, was 7-1 at that stage, and Lucky then went on to beat Sharp, and so I think he was 8-1, or he was 7-2, I can't remember. I think he lost at some point again. I can't remember who against, but I think Lucky and I were both 7-2, and Sharp, unfortunately, because he lost back-to-back to Lucky and I. So I went to 7-2 because I beat Kingdra. Again, Alemomola, like Ferrothorn, were putting away. Jolteon put in so much work that game. It was like a Life Orb Jolteon, and it like ripped through his team. I predicted his Donphan one turn and absolutely destroyed it with Hidden Power Ice. It was amazing. Anyway, so then we were both 7-2 going into the final match of the season. And this is again where I was a bit like, really, man? Really? Because Lucky, okay, I'm in a bag on Lucky, but I'm going to be bagging on him a fair bit in this, and I don't really care if I get heat for it. Like, it's just how I feel. I'm going to talk how I feel, that's how I do. So, Lucky sent me a message saying, oh, hey man, do you just want to bring some fun stuff for this battle? And I was like, just going to bring a team that I want to bring. Why would I want to bring fun stuff? And he said, oh, well, because you know it doesn't matter which one of us wins or loses. We'll probably just be facing each other in the playoff regardless. And I was like, really? Really? You're going to say that when I think it was J-Specs and Misty were having their match, and the winner of that was going to face the loser of Lucky and I in this match. And I was like, really? Like, you don't think that either one of those guys could beat us? J-Specs never got a chance to actually play Lucky earlier in the season, which was shit, because I think J-Specs would have really liked to have that chance. At that point, I didn't get it, and that was just like really shit for J-Specs at the time. And Lucky was just like so cocky, thinking like, oh, it doesn't matter if I win or lose here because I'll just beat whoever I go up against next. And I was like, bro, you can't just... Why is that the attitude that you have? I get that you can be confident, but what you should be saying is, yeah, I'm confident enough I'm going to beat you here so I can get the bye and then I don't have to worry about it. And I ended up mollywhopping him because I made good predictions. I brought some cool sets like Iron Ball Kieran, which I kind of corrected later on. I forgot that Iron Ball, although it does increase the power of Fling a lot, it halves your speed, and I completely forgot about that. But I went on to win that battle, and that meant that we ended the season at a 8-2 record with a plus 27 differential. It was huge. We were the second best performing team for the entire season. I was stoked about that. That was great. It was awesome to finish the season that way. We had the bye. J-Specs unfortunately was in control of his match against Lucky, and then just a Hitmontop at the end ruined his day for him. And then it came to Lucky and I in the semi. Now, it's an understatement that I really wanted to beat Lucky here. Like, I'm not a... I'm going to say it right now. I'm not a fan of him. I'm just not. I'm just not a fan. He seems like a really nice guy, but he just is way too cocky, has way too much of an ego, and that doesn't sit right with me. You can be confident however much you want, but when you don't think we should have a fair and solid competitive battle, and you would rather just bring fun, stupid sets because you know that in your heart of hearts, not even thinking about the people, you're going to beat them, that's just not cool with me. Like, that's just not cool. And in the final, I was dominating. M-Board did so good at the start. Spit Roast, not Spit Roast, it's called The Big Show, was doing so good at the start. And then I made one bad play and ended up losing the semi-final. I got swept like a bitch because I made one bad play, and that was really unfortunate. And I don't know if it was that I got knocked out in the semi or that I lost to Lucky. Fortunately though, he lost in the grand final, so hey. I'm gonna get to that one. But I was still pretty happy with my performance. I was second best for the season, and I made it to the semis. Like, obviously I didn't win the championship, which sucks. Like, that's something I wanted to do. But I still felt pretty good about how the season went in a whole. I felt that I performed really well. The changes were really good for me. Alomomola put in a lot of work, and I'm going to talk about each of my Pokemon in a bit more detail at the end. But what I want to get to now is a bit of an important thing, and this is something I really want you guys to listen to. And I may even just take this bit out and put it into its own video if I feel like it. One thing that apparently annoyed Lucky about the grand final was the fact that he's up against the Chicago Sacred Fire, which was initially coached by my good friend Stab. Now, unfortunately, Stab's had some internet issues and some DS issues, and so he wasn't able to do a Wi-Fi battle for a long time. And so he had his assistant coach, Trev, who you guys might know from the Orange League, and he's also in the NPL. He jumped in to battle for him. Now, I don't really have an issue with this. Like, if you have an assistant coach, it stands to reason they can jump in and battle for you. Like, it's not really a big deal. It's why we get assistant coaches in this kind of league. I don't really have one because I mean, I have no life, so I can probably do all my battles. I don't really have any issues, to be fair. But at the time, Lucky was really annoyed because apparently, in the words that I was hearing from people, he didn't get to battle the real coach and have the real grand final. And this is what kind of grinds my gears, and I was having a really good chat to people about this, is the fact that, you know, if it wasn't for Trev, there wouldn't be a grand final match. Because at the end of the day, this is a Wi-Fi league. The grand final should be over Wi-Fi. And regardless of whether Stab or Trev was doing the battle, if Trev is Stab's assistant coach, they're probably going to build the exact same team together, and you never know, they might be in the call together, doing all that stuff, so all the same plays might have been done. The only literal difference was that the person you were battling at that time wasn't Stab. Like, on the screen, it just said it was Trev, not Stab. That is literally probably the only difference when it came to that battle. Because if he was a good assistant coach, he would help out Stab every time, building the proper team. They would go into the battle, duke it out, easy peasy, win. Like, it's such a moot point to say you didn't battle the real coach, because at the end of the day, if Trev's been assisting Stab this whole time, you were battling the real person. Like, that's what an assistant coach is meant to do. They're meant to help him out. Like, I get that Stab should be able to battle by himself, but he had issues this season. Like, he fully admitted that he had issues when it came to recording and doing the battles and all that stuff. So it's a good thing Trev was actually there to help him out. Like, if you were in that position, how would you feel if you were trying to do a league and you didn't have somebody who was there to do your battles for you, and so then basically you were just forfeiting the league for the rest of the season? Like, would you enjoy that? My dog is barking. Give me one quick second. Okay, door is closed. Alright, anyway. So, what I'm just basically saying is that it really irks me that he was annoyed at the fact that Trev had to sub in for Stab. I mean, at the end of the day, I think he was just salty because he got destroyed, like 4-0 in the final. I did find it kind of satisfying. I sound like such a bitch, but I don't care. I really don't. If you're going to treat people that way, then you deserve this karma. That's just what I'm saying. If you're going to treat people like shit, then you deserve to have that shit thing happen. That's all I'm saying. So, at the end of the day, guys, Trev, or technically Stab, but kind of really it's Trev, was the Season 1 champion of the PMC, and that's cool. Like, I ain't got no qualms. Like, we all had a fun season. And I think the main thing for me, and a lot of people said it as well, is we just made new friends. It was really cool. We really enjoyed it, and Season 2 is going to be awesome. So, what I want to do now is just all that, and I just want to focus now on my team, and just talk about how I feel the team that I had went this season. So, Mega Pidgeot / Mega Pinsir, I never really used my Mega at all, which is weird. I just never really used it, which like begs me the question, and it sounds really stupid. I've been really tempted in my next season to draft like a Mega that gives me the most free points and just never use it, because I find that in a lot of my battles I do really well without a Mega Pokemon being there. Just using my regular team can get the job done pretty well for me. And so, I don't know if that's something I'm going to consider or not. I could get Mega Camera up again, I've done it before. Mega Ordino this season, in the D League, it gave you 100 points, and I was like, are you kidding me? Now it's only going to give you 60, and I'm like, probably better, probably smarter now doing that. But yeah, I don't know, I'm still not sure what I'm going to do exactly. I might choose a tier 4 Mega to give me those nice clean 80 points, because one thing I have done that I'll talk about now with Kieran Black is I've chosen to franchise Kieran Black, and by franchising Kieran Black, it means that I'm going to lose 40 points from my free points, and I also miss my first round pick. So it's like a pretty hefty punishment, but to get Kieran Black, I'm willing to make the sacrifice. So if you put that in perspective, if I get an 80 point Mega, like it gives me 80 free points on the back of it, that does mean that I will have 440 points to pick my entire squad. Now, by doing that, it does essentially mean that with Kieran Black, I could pick up 2 extra tier 1 Pokemon and then have enough points left over to grab 2 tier 5s and have like a full squad. So it's not too bad, right? It's not the worst. I don't know if I'm going to do that though. I think if I was going to do it that way, I'd probably get 1 tier 1, then a couple of tier 2s. might work a bit better for me, because then if we do the point system the proper way, God, I hope it's the proper way, I have enough points then to get a tier 3, which would be pretty nice. I'd like that. I'd like that. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see if that's how it's actually going to go, if that's the way I'm going to go with my mega pick. But let's just focus on the rest of the team. So like I said, Kieran Black did really well this season. I was really happy with his performance. Kieran Black in this format is just phenomenal, guys. I definitely would recommend using it. It is just a great mon in Pardon me, that was like a hiccup burp. I don't know what that was. It's a great mon in general, and definitely a really solid one to use on your team. Like, it's just like Scarfed, Life Orb, like Sub-Toxic. So many ways you can use it, and it's just always so good for a team. So I definitely do recommend using it. Mew, I used it for a little bit, and I didn't really get any kills with it. But the Mew factor is really strong. It has so many different sets, and because of the amount of defense already I have on my team, it basically meant that I could build a team of 5 Pokemon, and then have the last Pokemon being Mew, to basically fulfill any role it needed to do. Like, a lot of times I just ran it as a Scarf, because it was just really easy having it as a late game cleaner coming in, locking yourself into one move, easy peasy, win con, lovely jubbly. Ember was a really unsung hero. This thing is actually amazing in this format. Like, just the ability to be able to just monster things. Like, I remember round 1 where Sharpener was saying to me, I thought Mega Sableye could deal with Ember. And he learned real quick that Adamant Life Orb Ember does not mess around. It dominates people. It literally dominates people, and he learned that the hard way. Unfortunately, Ember got the first official kill of the entire season for the PMC, and it was pretty awesome. It was a really good Pokemon for me this season. I thoroughly enjoyed using it, and definitely for the price range it was at, I definitely would recommend using it. They may bump it up to tier 2 for next season because of how well it went, but it's just so good. It's just so good. Jolteon, when I picked it up, Heliolisk was good, don't get me wrong. Heliolisk and Jolteon were both very, very good for me, but Jolteon, with that speed, is just so much better. The fact that it also has Baton Pass, which means you can bypass Volt Absorbers and all ground types and all that shit, it's really, really nifty. It's a really, really strong pick. It's very budget for a solid electric type, so I definitely would recommend that. But Heliolisk as well, with that base 108 speed, I believe, is still a very, very solid choice too. Having the dual stab is really nice. It punches a lot of holes in teams, so either of those electric types is a very, very good choice. Now we're going to get on to a bit more of the defensive core of the Verd. Or actually, we're going to go with the last offensive mon that I used for the season, Tyrantrum. Now, Tyrantrum was a bit of a funny one. I never really used Tyrantrum that much, and you might be thinking this is a bit surprising. I guess when you have a team that has like Kieran Black, Ember, Mew, Jolteon, there just wasn't a time where I felt like Tyrantrum could fulfill a job better. But I will say that Tyrantrum had a lot of fear factor to it. Like, a lot of times after like a match, I talked to the opponents and I said, like, oh yeah, why did I bring that thing? He said, oh, because, you know, I needed something for Tyrantrum. So knowing that Tyrantrum was a factor is really good. Like, knowing that thing, you know, was a threat. Oh, can I just say as well, like, I just want to point this out, because I realized these things after a battle. Why didn't I bring Wheezing as the check to Mega Beedrill in my match against Cloud? Like, it was by far probably like the best check that I had. 2 Mega Beedrill on my entire team. Excuse me, I didn't even bring it. Like, I'm just dumb, but I digress. Tyrantrum was alright. Like, I almost got one sweep with it, so yeah. Anyway, moving on to the defensive mons now. So let's start with Gramble. I think Gramble was my defensive Pokemon of the season. I think it got the job done when it needed to. It just walled things all day. It had Heal Bell. It hit really hard. It just dealt with things. It just did its job. It never really got monstered by anything. It took a Poison Jab. It might have been -1, but it still took a Poison Jab from Mega Beedrill. Like, it ain't a slouch. It's very, very strong, and definitely very, very underrated too. So yeah, I really did enjoy using Gramble this season. It was a lot of fun. Wheezing was kind of good. I felt bad I didn't use Wheezing as much. Like, it was used in one battle where it took out a Sylveon pretty much, which was awesome. Like, at the time, I really needed to. And then it was like the hero against Infrared in my round 6 match. Like, it put in so much work. It was awesome. Loved it. I just didn't get a chance to use this much, but for the budget price that it is a very, very solid pick, and I would recommend it to people. Definitely, it's a solid one. And then we come to probably the last three who put in a insurmountable amount of work along with Granbull this season. It was kind of an unsung hero kind of thing. So I'll talk about Alomomola last, because I got a bit of a hard-on for Alomomola, but Ferrothorn, Granbull, and Spiritomb combined to become like this really weirdly good core. Like, for some reason, Fairy, Dark, and Steel, like not Fairy Dragon and Steel, Fairy, Dark, and Steel, for some reason, was like a really good combination against my opponents. Like, also having the Ghost, I think, so maybe it was the Fairy, Ghost, and Steel. Just that combination was really, really solid for my team this season. Like, Ferrothorn could lay down the hazards, Spiritomb could block them, and Granbull was just so solid defensively. They all just worked really well together. Spiritomb got a few trap kills, which was great. Ferrothorn, you know, I was able to run around like a few different sets. Like, I ran a banded one for the semi-final, which was sweet. And those guys were just phenomenal together as an entire core. I didn't expect a core of just randomly mismatched mons to work so well. I didn't really have any of the big, solid defensive walls you'd expect, but they all did their job, and that was the best part, I feel. But lastly, guys, we have to talk about Alomomola. I brought this thing in at round 7. So there was round 7, 8, 9, 10. Alomomola came to 4 matches for me. Well, technically it came to 5 if you count the semi-final, but we're not going to count the semi-final. It came to 4 matches in the regular season, and it averaged 2 kills a match. It's a freaking fish. Like, do you understand how good that is for a Pokemon to do? Alomomola put in so much work for me this season. I think the big factor about it, I think it's gonna sound bad, but it's not meant to be. The biggest factor about Alomomola that didn't happen until the semi-final was that nobody thought to put up a substitute. Like, because my opponents didn't put up subs, mirror coding was so easy, hitting him for other moves was so easy, it was so free, and then Lucky kind of cracked the code, and that I'll give him credit for. Like, running the sub was smart, and the reason why he ran the sub was because I kind of revealed the Alomomola that I like to use. Like, I was tempted not to use Alomomola the way that I did in our round 10 match, because I didn't want to reveal the fact that it got mirror code. I didn't want to, because I wanted him to think that Sylveon could break through my team, but in that match, I revealed mirror code to blow back his Sylveon. And it was like, annoying, but whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, Alomomola picked up so many clutch kills. It was so good this season. Against Sharp, it took out a Cryogonal and Alakazam, and it was just, like, amazing. It was just, against V, it took out a Rotom Heat and a Weavile. Like, the diversity of Pokemon that it's taking out, it doesn't matter if it's super effective against them or not, because it has like decent coverage. Like, it has knockoff, it has wake up slap, it has mirror coat, scald, waterfall. It has decent options, so it's not just that classic wish, protect, toxic bullshit. It can also be an assault vest tank that can hit really hard and be an absolute nuisance for people. And that's something people forget. So Alomomola is really good. You just gotta watch out, because if your opponents catch on to what it can do, they'll try and set up a sub. So you just gotta try and play around that too. But if you can, it is a really solid and really budget pickup. It really is. It only has base 45 special attack, but when your only special attacking move is mainly going to be Scald or Mirror Coat, it doesn't matter, because Mirror Coat doesn't care about special attack, and Scald is mainly just there to snag a burn. So it's not really that big of a deal, guys. But that is going to do it for my recap. Tampa Frogadiers this season in the PMC. We went 8-2, like I said, with a plus 27 differential. Unfortunately, we were knocked out in the semi-finals. But next season we're coming back better than ever. As I said, I'm going to be franchising Kieran Black this season. Very, very excited for next season where I have that guy. But it's going to make the drafting a lot tougher. My game plan, like I said, I'm still not sure. I could do the sneaky tactic of trying to draft a very, very low tier Mega to see if maybe I can use those points to further my team. As I said, I don't really use my Mega that much. So it could be a cheeky decision that works out perfectly for us. We'll have to wait and see, but that is going to do it for me, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video and kind of understanding how I feel the season's gone and all that good stuff. But I definitely have enjoyed the season, meeting all the new people. Now I'm basically doing all my analyst roles, and it's so much fun, but I am definitely prepping, getting my mind and body ready for Season 2 of the PMC, where you will see a Tampa Bay Frogadiers back. I have a shirt coming soon that I'll be wearing for my matches, so get excited for that. Get excited for this man bun thing that's on top of my head. Get excited for everything. This has been your boy the Bird, and I'm out this bitch. Peace.